Hello everybody, back again, and this time I want to quickly look at the font node again and how I can add an attribute into the information in the font node. So in previous lessons we've looked at this, which has just got the basics in here. Oh, by the way, I can't believe in the last lesson I actually forgot to show you the font itself. So if I want to change the font, I just select something here, right, and I change my font to, what should we change it to? Something that it recognizes, please. Let's have, which one do I actually know of? Helvetica, of course. Okay, so I can see that I can change my font there. I forgot to show you that in the last lesson. I can't believe that I forgot to show you that one. Anyway, never mind. So now let's go back to this sprintf. Now remember, also in the previous lesson we looked at how to create a float and then use that information to convert it into a string. Okay, now there's a reason why you're going to need that. So let me go, and I'm going to add a null first of all. You'll see why in a moment, just as a reference point. And I'm going to call this, I think, out sprintf. All right. Now let's, I can see here, by the way, that I've still got this information here. You know what, I'm going to change this into the detail rather than a point. And then I'm just going to hold this information in there. So I'm not spreading it over many points if I had many points, right? I'm just going to hold it here in the detail section. And I think now let's go for our font. This is where it can get a little bit tricky to do. So first of all, let's get rid of this information here. I don't need that. And I want to look at how to get this attribute here. Let's take the string test attribute, okay, and I want to add it into here. So what I want to do is get the result 2.2. Now of course I can just add 2.2 and I will get that pop up, but of course that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring in the attribute itself. If I change the attribute, I want this of course to update. So let's remove that for now and let's look at how to do that. So I'm going to need a bit of Vex code yet again, and I'm going to look at this one here, the detail attribute. Can that give me anything? No, it just takes me back here. Alright, so where were we? Here. And it says reads the value of a detail attribute value from a geometry, and this is what we want. We want it to read in this information. So we've got the detail. I need the geometry, which is basically the location of that geometry. I want the attribute name, and then here I've got some information here which I don't actually need to include for this example. So all I need to have is the location and the geometry name. Now remember here that the geometry name, the attribute name has to go in as a string. So let's go back and I will show you how to do this. So first of all, I'm going to add my information that I had before, which is detail. In fact, let's go with details. I think that does it show me any information here about that one? For some reason details seem to work better last time. I'll try them both and we will see what happens. So anyway, details, and then I need my location. So I'm going to move outside of this. So what this does, these two dots and this hash here, this slash, all it does is it takes this information, it goes outside of this, so this puts me into this area here, and then I can look for, in this case, the out sprintf, I think. So let's put that in capitals, just copy it down, sprintf. Let's close that. Now you might remember also that I also have to put in the attribute name with inside a string. So I'm going to do that. My attribute name is, remember, string underscore test. So let's do that. Okay, there we go. It's a string, so it must be in quotes. Let me think, what was it again? I'm already forgetting. My brain is very, very slow today. Alright, that's good. Let's close that off, and that should do. Oh, now look what's happening. I'm getting that information just typed out. Looks kind of cool. Let's turn this off. I don't need that. Okay, but that's not what I want. I wanted to recognize this not as text, but I needed to look at it as a piece of code, piece of Xcode. So remember, the way to do that was to add the backtick at the front and the backtick at the back. Now let's try that. Yay! And now I've got my 2.2, so it worked. I haven't even got this connected to anything. It just finds this information out of here. Now I'm using a reference link here, but I can also use an absolute path. So I can do both of them. I can use a relevant, is it relevant? I can't remember words anymore. The path, and anyway, I think it's called a relevant, it's not called a relevant path, is it? Anyway, somebody tell me below, I've forgotten the word. And of course the absolute path, which in this case would be, let me have a look, OBG GEO1, and then it would be the out sprint F. Now I want to show you what happens if I put this float test in here. Let's see what happens there. So let's put this one in, float test, and nothing happens, it disappears. And the reason for that, if you remember, is that the float test is a float, string test is a string, and in this font node it will only accept strings, right? So I can only use any attribute which I've converted into a string or made into a string right at the very beginning, of course. So let's do that. Okay, let's add that there. Have I hit something incorrectly there? My string test isn't coming up with any result. What have I done wrong there? String test, sprint. I'm not getting any result. What have I done there? Sprint. I'm so dumb. Okay, this needs to be float. Not sure exactly where I went with that one. Okay, right, now I'm going float, and this needs to be string. Now it should work. Nope. Alright. Aha. If I click on that. Alright. Now I'm good. I've got it now. So yes, I've got this correct. I made a mess of that. So remember to have the float test here, and I'm converting this into the string test, and then I've got the string test in here. Hallelujah, that took a bit of going, didn't it? Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to show you was now if I change this, so let's make this, for example, 3.4, and now it automatically updates there. So if this attribute is dynamic and it's changing all of the time, this will automatically update too. That's basically what I wanted to show you. Now you might be wondering why I've done that, and for some future lessons I'm going to do on the dot product and the cross product, I want to look at how to create a visualization for that as well, so lining up all the vectors, etc., just so you can understand the maths behind it. And I was thinking to add a font behind there, and then you can see that update in the viewport. You will see in those future lessons. By the way, even though I've got this here, I can also add some text here. So I could put what could I put? I could put this S sprint F, and then I can do that, of course, right? So I can also mix in the regular text, the regular string, and I can bring in the attribute too, and it will recognize all of that. So that's kind of cool too. So I can put a list of information, and then I can change the attributes there at the end. Anyway, I've gone on way too much there for something which was relatively straightforward, but I hope that you now understand how that works. It's really more difficult, I think, than it needs to be, that one, but that's how it is, and I don't know any other way to do it. So hopefully that's useful, and you guys have a super day.